Voyage.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
In Walmart's Newville, time was ticking away. Only a few nights left till the big holiday. But last-minute gifters had no need to worry. Walmart Express Delivery got their gifts in a hurry. From Nintendo to Nespresso and Lego flowers, they could check off their lists in as fast as an hour. All of Newville, East, West, South, and North could order gifts up until 5 p.m. on December 24th. So this holiday, just do as the Who's do. With gift delivery this fast, they all gasped. From Walmart, who knew? Subject to availability, terms and fees apply.
My name is Parveen Smith, and through my clairvoyant experiences, I've healed myself and others.
I'm Dan Benamore. I produced this episode for Voyage Media. This is Parveen. She's going to tell you some things that, if you're like me, you might have a little trouble believing. Trust me, I get it. I'm the skeptic in my own household. My wife is into Kabbalah, believes in ghosts, and when I told her I was producing an episode about someone who practices angel healing, she knew exactly what that was. So for the skeptics listening, believe me when I tell you, I'm one of you. I didn't know what this was. Yet, as I talked more and more to Parveen, I found myself wondering, where traditional medicine might not be the solution, can a more spiritual form of healing be the answer? It was for Parveen.
I was very ill with breathing difficulties, fibromyalgia, and chronic fatigue syndrome, with multiple admissions to hospital throughout a very short period of time. Eventually, I went private hospital, and it took me a period of 2 years to recover. I experienced healing myself daily through a 2-year period. I felt only I would know what I was suffering and what I was going through. You know your body very well. When I couldn't eat and breathe at the same time, I knew that my body was in trouble. One day, I cried out in the middle of the night. I cried out for help. God, just somebody help me. I don't want to die just yet. My mission is not completed. I started seeing angels that night. I was awoken in the middle of the night, and I felt that I was being held down. I couldn't move. I could see angelic beings all around me. They started working on me, on my body. It was like an operation. It was painful. I just needed to bear with it. I just surrendered and let this continue for a while. It was almost an hour or so. Then I learned how to heal myself through a course which appeared at the right time, divine timing just for me. A course which would help me to self-heal daily. And I just trusted that one day I would recover. The day came 2 years later, and I woke up with complete astonishment. No pain. My joints did not hurt. I had no fatigue. I felt amazing and uplifted.
Sound far-fetched? Consider this. The BBC reported in 2015, a 74-year-old woman had skin cancer with such a spread of tumors that neither surgery or chemotherapy would have been effective. She received no treatment. 20 weeks later, the patient was cancer-free. This was a 1 in 100,000 outcome. Unaided recovery. Explain that. Doctors couldn't. The patient believed it was the hand of God. But here's the most interesting part. It spurred scientists to look for better understanding of spontaneous regression, or self-healing. Self-healing is a documented medical phenomenon. The BBC also reported that in infants less than 1 year old, regression is so common the doctors tend to avoid starting chemotherapy in hopes tumors will shrink by themselves. The question then is, where do biology, science, and spiritual faith intersect? For Parveen, they are entwined.
My relationship with spirituality from a young age was that when I believed that I felt different, I often looked at my skin colour. I looked at my hands and I wondered who I was. Who was I in this body? Coming from an Indian background, it was okay for us to experience meditation. So at an infant age, I used to sit in the temples, and it was quite normal to sit quietly and just to meditate. One day, I came out of the temple, and as a very young memory I have, I said to my mother, I believe in Jesus. My mother reminded me not to forget about where my roots were and who the gurus were that we believed in. I feel I've always had spiritual concepts and understanding of something beautiful and divine, and something really does exist.
Parveen parlayed her own experience into a healing practice where clients would come to her.
What is angel healing? Angel healing is coming from divine source. So the hierarchy, as I can say, this is the divine. You may say divine, God, universe, that's fine too. In whichever way you feel is right for you, that's absolutely fine. Then we have the angels, and angels, there's lots of hierarchy of angels out there as well. So the angels, the archangels, are the ones that I work with and have been for 15 years plus. And the archangel energy is so pure, so divine. And working with the energy, it brings healing to whomever wants it. Usually, an individual soul may feel something is missing. They need to have something, or they need a direction or transformation. And angel healing comes from the angelic realms, from the angelic kingdom, to bring the healing into the soul of the person who is wanting this, to make the transformations to give them a happier or healthier life, or to help them through a difficult situation. And angel healing is there to bring that pure, bright, white light energy into the soul of the human being requiring it. So when a client comes to see me, I initially go through a consultation with the person who seeks my help. I am very aware that a person can come to me quite nervous or excited, and I like to make them comfortable so I can help that person to bring support to them. But the way I bring that support is through the angelic realms, and that's how the healing started for me and brought wellness to myself. That was many years ago. So every person who makes contact with me, I make them feel comfortable. I would normally do a consultation form with them first, just get to know them a little bit and why they want to come to me. People can come with all sorts of things, be it migraines, earache, headaches, severe health conditions, or just to bring comfort to themselves or to enhance their spirituality. After I've spoken to them, I would play some music in the background and allow that person to relax as I guide them to how I'm going to work with them. Usually I would place my hands onto the person's thymus gland, which is the heart center, and the solar plexus, the two chakras at the middle of the chest and lower, just beneath the center of the chest. So the two chakras will allow the healing for that person. And by touching the area here, if the person allows me to, or I raise my hands above, it will bring the healing to a deep level, the deep healing within the soul, to make the deep spiritual soul healing connection. The healing continues for as long as it needs to, and within that time frame of that 1 hour slot, I would then allow the healing to finish when the time is right. After the healing is starting to finish, I would then look at bringing that person back into the reality, because sometimes people can feel sleepy, tired, or even fallen asleep, which is fine. I would then finish the healing, allowing that person to be grounded by the angelic realms, as I have my own method with this. I also then would touch the client's feet to make sure they're fully grounded and anchored to the earth, fully alert. I would then call their name, touch their shoulder, and ask them to open their eyes. And then I would get them a glass of water, where we would then discuss how they felt throughout that session. And then if I have any feedback or any spiritual guidance or any awareness that I need to share with them, that's exactly what I would do. This can be done in person or even through video calls, as that's how the work is done nowadays. But remember, everything is energy. Energy is all around us. And even when we make contact through a phone, it's energy. If we make contact through a video call, it's energy. So energy is everywhere. People who want to receive this will know exactly what they're getting when they are connected. It's all through the connections and all about just being open to receive. And the divine angel healings are done in that way.
Parveen's personal healing was not her only seemingly supernatural spiritual experience. Parveen is an empath, so empathetic she literally feels other people's pain.
I've been feeling something rather quite unique, or maybe other people feel it too, where my body goes through almost like a dying process. I called it a dying process because when things happen around the world, like war zones or mass shootings or mass deaths or earthquakes or volcanoes on that sort of level, and all these fires and floods and things like that. My body goes through something really traumatic, which a lot of people didn't realise who know me, that I went through this. And I used to call it the dying process. And every time there was a major incident in the world, my body went through exactly the same. Still does to this day. And it is almost like if there was an earthquake and hundreds of people have died, or even 10 or 15 people have died, doesn't matter about the number, but it's more than 3 or 4, let's just say. My body goes through a dying process as if I am going through exactly what they are going through. And I feel like at times I'm just held by this golden thread, a breath away from not being here alive. But then something always reminds me, you can cope with this. You can do this. You're here for a reason. You can do this, so stay with it. And I have to keep myself as positive as possible and keep praying to God, the angels, for my own health to keep me alive, whilst this transition of other people's lives is taken. And through that, I'm just about hanging on myself, not knowing if I will be okay, even though I've been told just to trust. And through that process, I feel my body is going through the death and the dying process. But yet, earlier years, it used to take me about 3 days to recover from that. Now it takes me just hours to recover from that. I just need to rest and do nothing and just go back to my breath and remember I'm alive, I'm okay, I will be kept alive. And that happens quite often. And any sort of other disasters or people who are dying even, it's the same again. I just feel everything that's happening in their body, but it happens in my body.
The roots of Parveen's empathy may be found in her culture and upbringing.
Since I was a child, I think my memory goes back to being about 5 years old. I think that's when, sitting in the temples, when I felt the most peace, and I still can feel the peace anytime I go into the Sikh temples. I feel the immense peace, the immense warriorship of that culture, where no matter what happens around the world, they will go out and they will help anybody everywhere. They will feed you, they will clothe you, they will look after you, they will give you shelter. And it feels like in a previous lifetime for me, something's happened to me where I'm just coming back to finish off some of my duties. I feel from the past lifetimes possibly that I was growing into this space where I am now. I feel as if I truly empathic, and I've helped many people through the earthquake zones that have happened over the world. And even to this day with the pandemic and so forth, I feel so as if I can't let people suffer. I must not let people suffer. I must help them where I possibly can. I feel as if it's happened from a very young age, this feeling and this knowing. And when I was 17 years old, my mother took me to the Golden Temple in India, and I can remember going into the waters. In them days, you were allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that nowadays. You could actually bathe in the holy waters. My mother says to me to this day that something happened to me after I bathed in that holy water. For me, I feel as if this has been in my body throughout me all my life.
And Parveen's deep empathy has extended all the way to clairvoyant experiences.
I had a premonition years ago of a friend. I had this premonition, almost like a dream, but I knew something was about to happen. Can you remember when you have dreams, you wonder why they can come to reality? Well, this is exactly what happened for me. But for me, it wasn't a dream. It was almost like a nightmare. My friend's husband suddenly had a heart attack in 2014, and sadly he died instantly. He was only going out for a run, and she expected him to be gone for about half an hour or so. That's what he told her, but he didn't come back home. She went out in the car looking for him. She noticed there was 3 police officers, the cars and the ambulance nearby. She didn't think too much of it, but when she got back, she walked over to the police car and the ambulance. She went to ask the police officer what had happened. She told them she was looking for her husband, and the policemen glanced at one another briefly. She knew straight away that was him in the ambulance. He'd passed away suddenly just as they said, from a heart attack, exactly there and then. Such a sad, sad time. I was absolutely heartbroken for her. What a shock to deal with. Even though it was a shock to me, still knowing that my dreams and premonitions do come true.
Parveen can sense not only when death is coming, but when someone has been touched by death, and not just amongst her friends, even amongst strangers.
We'd been away for a little vacation with the family, and we were just about to board a train. And we were there 15 minutes early, so we sat on some seats. There was four together for me, my husband, and my 2 children. The train manager had given my children an activity pack. That was exactly what they needed because the journey was such a long way away for us. As my husband sat next to me, my children sat next to each other across us. And I noticed across the way there was a lady. I instantly knew that something had happened. I knew that somebody she knew had died. How did I know this? I don't know. I just felt it. I just had this knowing. I heard her sobbing and I wanted to instantly go and help her. I asked my husband, kindly, please can you move so I can speak to this lady? He really did not want me to do this, as he didn't agree with him moving so that I could go and help her. He was a little bit annoyed, but anyway, he moved. I could hear her sobbing quite loudly now. By this stage, I walked over. This is what happened as best as I can remember.
I approached the crying woman on the train. I know something serious has happened. I could feel the sorrow and pain in her body. I knew her partner had died. I gave her tissues, kneeled beside her and held her hand. Though we were complete strangers, she let me.
My boyfriend's dead. They think it was a massive heart attack. I was just with him today. We kissed goodbye before I took the train.
I'm so sorry. My name is Parveen.
Jane. Sorry, I need to take this.
Of course. While Jane was on the phone, surely with others who knew her boyfriend, I went and got her coffee and a chocolate bar. She was off the phone when I returned.
Thank you. I just arrived into Glasgow. Now I'm on the train back.
Have you got someone to meet you when you arrive in London?
My family?
I'll give you some space. I went and found the train manager in another carriage. I explained the situation. He offered to escort Jane to first class to give her some privacy. After he did, he told me I could go and sit with her if I wanted. I sensed she wanted that too. I moved across the speeding carriages to the first class section and found Jane. Can I sit with you? Jane moved her coat to make space for me. I know you probably don't believe in things like this, but sometimes I know that something is going to happen before it does. A couple of nights ago, I sensed chest pains, and I knew it related to a man, someone I knew or was going to meet.
A couple of nights ago, my boyfriend was getting chest pains. We thought nothing of it. We thought it was just indigestion or something. He was only 42.
He was good to you.
We'd been together for 3 years. I didn't think people like him existed. We were happy. I thought that was it. One day he'd propose and we'd always be together. Just like that. He's gone. It's not real. I mean, I know it's happened, but I can't connect it in my mind.
I just know I was sent to help you. Angels saved my life, and they guide me to help others. I'm meant to be here to comfort you. Do you believe in angels?
No. But what I do believe is that my boyfriend sent you to help me. Thank you, Parveen.
She embraced me. You're welcome. I searched my bag for a crystal. I put some drops of essence on the crystal and got some angel blessings I had on strips of paper. I put everything in Jane's hand. This is for extra support, because I'm getting off soon. Hold it tight all the way to London. You will be looked after. I'll be thinking of you.
Parveen, I may not believe in any of this, but I believe in you. You are an angel.
I took a deep breath in and out, trying to keep my composure as the tears threatened to come. Take care. Our stop was coming soon. I had to get back to my family. I left Jane, knowing she had much pain ahead of her, wishing I could have done more.
You might think this is just intuition. If Parveen sees someone crying, obviously something bad must have happened.
I feel that premonitions are quite different to intuition. I feel in my own self, the way I look at premonitions is I'm given the information prior to it happening. It's information. It's almost sometimes my premonition can be like a video playing in my mind's eye, my third eye. It could be just this knowing of the information is given to me before it's even occurred. And then I look at intuition. My intuition tells me to do something, but I don't find that intuition is as strong as premonition. I think premonition goes much more deeper within my soul before I actually make any contact or initiation to doing anything. My intuition tells me that I must go and get the washing off the line before it rains. My intuition might tell me, oh, don't put too much chili in your food, it might hurt my stomach, for example. I find there is a fine balance, but there is a difference between intuition and premonition. Premonition is much stronger. Intuition is almost like a bit of guidance that I might feel. Premonition is still much stronger.
Parveen alluded to her husband not wanting her to go console a total stranger. Her husband did not believe in all this, at least at first.
I was sitting in my conservatory the very early stages 15 years ago. I saw something pass, a shadow in the kitchen, and then another occasion my husband was sitting next to me and I knew he saw it, but he wanted to deny it, and I saw it from the corner of my eye. He saw something, he looked up and he still wanted to deny it. So I said to him, did you just see that? And he said, see what? I said, did you just see a shadow walk through in the kitchen? And he did say, yes, he did. And I says, well, there you go. Now, for the previous year or time before that, you didn't believe me that I could see things, and things are here. We're not the only living beings on this whole universe. There's other things. There's got to be spirits and souls walking around. What happens to them? And he started seeing things a little bit more clearly then, and he started to believe me a little bit more then. Before that, he was skeptical. He didn't believe that the angels operated on my body for 1 hour when I cried out for help that night, or the times after that I was seeing angels. He never really truly believed me. And even my children were seeing things in the house, such as my son saw Jesus in the house. My daughter was seeing angels. She saw people who had passed over who were my relatives, and she would never have known what my sister would have looked like because she wasn't even born then. My sister died 33 years ago, and she told me exactly what my sister looked like. She was telling me how there were deceased people walking through that entire property, and she used to see people that were described in pure detail to the colour of their hair, the eyes, the clothes that they were wearing. And when my cousin passed over, my children shared such detailed information with me on what they were wearing, how they looked, and again, there was no possibility of that because she passed away, and they could not have described her in so much detail as they did through a treatment session that I gave them, a healing session, and that she came to them and they could see her at the end of this tunnel. As one of my children explained, the end of this tunnel of light, they saw a figure, and this figure was coming closer and closer, and it turned out to be my cousin who passed away sadly, tragically as well. So again, a lot of people can be very, very skeptical, and I come across a lot of skeptical people as well as those people who do believe. But that's okay too, because I don't think you can believe it until you see it. Seeing is believing, yes. So if you don't see it, you're not going to believe it. But if you see it, you will learn to believe that there is something there other than just us in the physical world as human beings. And I feel even scientists or skeptical people who've come for treatments with me would have felt something even if they didn't believe it. And they can go away with just that little bit more of a different type of sense of knowing that something does exist, something else is there, and energy is huge, and energy can make a difference.
Parveen also had a strong reaction to the pandemic. She had already run a radio program to help others, Celestial Radio, where she helped people all around the world. The pandemic inspired her further.
During the pandemic, I had another experience with the angels, and this was another opportunity for me to help people through the guidance I've received spiritually. I had a request from a previous student I taught. She was saying, "Parveen, you need to have your own course. Call it anything, whatever you want. I want to sit the course because I need the next levels up." So I sat in contemplation for a few hours and meditated on it. Then I had a full surge of energy, and it was such a strong feeling that I was not to do anything else but to sit writing and researching. I had all this information coming to me. I started writing all the levels, the 5 levels, as I was guided by some force of energy, which is what I would call the same frequency, yes, that the angels were with me. It was their frequency, I recognized it. I stayed up for hours till gone midnight, day after day. I started seeing scrolls, sacred scrolls, and I was woken up by the angels. I couldn't close my eyes. I just had to read these scrolls for 2 hours one night, even though I was tired already. Then 2 hours the next night, I was woken to the same download of sacred scrolls. I read them, even though I didn't know what they said. My eyes were just reading and reading and reading. I felt elated that something special was happening. I continued for almost a month, and before you knew it, people were waiting for me to teach the courses. They all said it was just such a higher frequency, and it was like instant for the body to receive. The Angels of Transformation Healing in the Service in the New Eon is exactly what it was termed. The name, Healing and Service in the New Eon. This was all in the early stages of the pandemic 2020. I just knew something special was just given. I just knew it was for a reason to support people's health. The students that sat the courses also said it was special. So when we talk about angel healings, this is the next step for the spiritual evolution for human beings who believe, who wish to partake in encouraging their bodies to self-heal or to feel well or to embark on a spiritual journey or to enhance their spiritual journey. I felt so blessed when teaching the courses that often, whilst teaching them, I would have tears rolling down my face as I felt the divine was touching me. It was as if I was here bringing this next part of my mission out to those who need my support. Feeling amazed, elated, blessed beyond words.
Like I said at the start, I'm a natural skeptic. But I'll tell you this, as Parveen and I were recording, I looked over at the books on the desk beside me and noticed for the first time they were all books about spirituality, specifically of yogis and gurus. Those books, my wife's books, had been sitting there for years, and this was the first time I actually noticed the titles, which tied directly to what I was talking to Parveen about spirituality and her culture. Parveen, of course, casually mentioned that she sees the ancient gurus quite often. Parveen would be the first one to say, if you don't believe, it's okay. After talking to her, what I would say is consider being open to the possibility. Here's what Parveen has taken from all these experiences.
Everything that I have learnt in my lifetime I feel it's an ongoing process of a previous time that I have lived and previous times possibly as well. I feel in this incarnation that I am living in right now, if I've helped people, if I've shared and if I've given, and if I've balanced as much as I possibly have balanced and could look after my family where I could have looked after them and seeing them grow actually, because they're all got a thread of me within them. I can see it within my grandchildren. They already are predicting things happening even though they're only 2 and 3 years old. They say things that are going to happen before they happen, and it does happen, even though they're only 2 and 3 years old. And I feel if I could share this with you, share this with anybody and everybody, life is too short. Life is very short, in fact. And really, there is no room for arguments and, having disagreements if we can avoid it. But we know life does bring that too. So we're going into that balance mode. And sometimes we have to stand our ground and be strong. And sometimes we have to be quiet and listen. And sometimes we have to do. And then there is the non-doing. And then there's the appreciation. And I feel totally appreciative of where I have come from to where I am now, having nothing and little, and still working and doing what we can to make ends meet as we have to. We all do that. It's normal. It's life. And for me, if I can just share with you, if I've done all my duties I can do possibly this lifetime, I think if I can leave this incarnation happy knowing I've done that, I think I feel totally blessed. And sometimes the angels tell me things and I have the premonition still, and I know I have dreams and I have lots of guidance from masters and angels in my life who tell me a lot. I just take it all on board. And then I also know one other thing. I feel over the last 15 years, everything has been placed in front of me, everything. From everything that I can think of is there. I feel God, the divine, is pointing to me what I should be doing every step of the way. So from that point of view, I follow the guidance, I trust what I know, but then you may question, how do you trust what you know? I think in my space that I'm in, I totally trust what I know. I go with that flow. Don't swim the wrong way up the river. Keep flowing down the right way and allow your life to flow nicely too. And it's all in appreciation. That's what I feel I've learned in this lifetime. To hear more about my story, you can find my 2 books, Head in Heaven, Feet on Earth, and Seeing is Believing, Believing is Seeing on Amazon. A link is in the show notes.
Hope Lives Here is a production of Voyage Media. You can support the show by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you're listening. This helps more people discover the show. And subscribe now for future episodes.